Hey, welcome to Gator Tales with Chuck and Brad. Today we're with Coach Doug Moreau, former head coach, athletic director, principal at Santa Monica High School. Coach, we appreciate you taking the time out with us today to do the little interview and everything. So far, the feedback that I'm getting is pretty positive. You know, people they're like, man, I like watching that. That's pretty cool. I didn't know something about this. And so we do thank you for taking the time out, Coach, to let us know a little bit about Doug Moreau.
On your busy retired schedule. That's your job.
Yeah. Laid back.
Yeah, again, thank you, Coach, for taking this time and meeting with us. First of all, let's talk about you as a person. Let's talk a little bit about you and your family and kids and grandkids.
I grew up in Marksville, Louisiana.
Okay.
As a young boy, and I went to LSU in Alexandria. Called it LSUA. Commuted, and I met a beautiful young lady over there that Twitter pated me. And toward the end of my college career, we got married, and I began my career in coaching, and she's been a loyal supporter. And we moved around a little bit, being a coach, you had to move around a little bit, and she was always there to support me, and the Lord brought us over here, and that we knew that was it. I told Miss Eva Bourgeois one day, I said, they gonna bury me under some old cypress tree around here. It's gonna be it. It's the last stop.
That's the last stop, huh?
Yeah. So that was kind of how we got going. We had 3 kids, and of course, the oldest one, Christy, she's got a grandbaby.
Oh.
So we great grand.
There you go.
There you go.
Grandparents. And it was Christy, Josh, and John Brooks.
Yep.
And I think y'all played with.
They're both of them a little younger than me, and
I graduated with Christy.
Yeah.
With Christy.
Yeah. So Christy, and then so it would have been the year before me, and
then
then
boys were after that.
Yeah, came in right after me.
Anyhow, they were Gators.
Yep.
And true Gators. They loved Santa Monica High School, and black and gold all the way.
Yep.
So anyhow, and that's kind of how things got going for us. And when I was in the 10th grade, I wasn't playing football.
Okay.
Actually, I was in the 9th grade, and it was time for spring training. And my physical science teacher was named Alton Red Franklin. I don't know if you know that man.
I heard that name before.
Yeah.
He's in the Hall of
Hall of
Fame.
Fame, yeah.
The winningest, the most state championships of any public school.
Oh, wow.
In Louisiana football. So at Haynesville.
At Haynesville, yeah. I think
So
they made a
right
stadium after him, I think.
He saw me in class. He was redneck, freckle face, and he came to me and said, "Boy, why you ain't playing football?" And at the time, I was having some family problems.
Okay.
My daddy was an alcoholic,
Oh.
and great man, but boy, he drank. And I said, "You really want me to tell you?" So he said, "Yeah." So I confided in him.
Okay.
And he said, "Well, I tell you what, you come on out there for football." And he said, well, "Take it out on them boys." He said, "You can let it rip when you go."
Right.
So I did. I went out in the spring, and I loved it. Man, it was just like he said. I mean, I was like a missile flying around.
What position you played?
I played defensive and offensive end.
Okay.
He played 2 weeks. And one day he told me, he said, "Now, son," he said, "the object's to hit the man with the ball. That one trying to block you, don't worry about him. Avoid him." I just a missile boy, He said, that's not the object of the game. So anyhow,
But you told me.
that's how I got started in football.
Okay.
And I love that man to this day. He's still alive,
Oh, wow.
He's in the upper 80s.
Okay.
And he meant the world to me. And so about my junior year, my grades were not good at all. And I was skimming by. And, I decided I wanted to be a coach like Coach Frank. And so I went to the guys' accountant and said, what you gotta do to be a coach? You gotta go to school, college. College to be a coach? Yeah, man. And I looked at the little catalog and, all them ology classes, biology, sociology, kinesiology. There's a lot of ology. So, but I wanted it bad enough.
Right, that's
And
a
so
good drive.
That's the only thing that kept me going. I wanted to be a coach. And so I went to college and I did what I had to do. I studied and it didn't hurt to have a wife that was valedictorian of her class. It didn't hurt.
LSU, that was a 4-year school then?
No, it was 2 years.
2 years?
2 years, we went 2 years and then we both transferred to LSU.
Okay.
And by then we were dating steady and all that kind of stuff and real serious about it. And she was a very, she's a devout Catholic. And I was a Catholic, I wasn't devout at the time. But she's been a tremendous influence on me.
That's good.
And you know, now I'm as devout as she is about this stuff. So anyhow, that's pretty much my personal life, you know.
Okay. So after graduation, ready for coaching, what was the first stop? Where did you land at?
Well, I graduated at midterm, so, you know, it was an odd time.
Okay.
So, there was an opening at Judy's at a middle school. It don't even exist anymore.
Oh, wow.
As a school. And an opening at Mandeville High School. And so I wanted to go to Mandeville because they had it was a high school football program. And their head coach over there was Coach Sid Terrio. He had played for Bear Bryant when Bear Bryant was at Texas A&M.
Okay.
He was in the mountains with Bear Bryant, but he took him in the mountains to get away from everybody.
Right.
He started out with 50-something, he came back with 18 players.
Yeah.
He was on that TV, on that movie, huh?
Kind of like Remember the Titans.
Yeah.
He was on that team.
Yeah.
And they won the Southwest Conference Championship.
Okay.
He was, needless to say, a hard-nosed coach.
Yeah.
He ran a tight ship, so that was a good influence on me, you know.
I wonder where that rubbed off on.
So anyhow, I stayed there for that semester.
Okay.
And it was a rough place for him. I mean, it was integration was just starting, and there was a lot of turmoil.
What year was this around?
68, 69, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this was 69.
69. Okay.
No, 68. And then, so anyhow, I got a call from I went to a coaching clinic with my old football coach, Tommy Douglas, his daddy, Warren Douglas.
Okay.
Okay.
And he told me, boy, you need to get back into Vols Parish. And he said, I'm gonna try and get you at Marksville High. So I ended up going to Simsport High School. It just started a football program the second year. And Mike Brinkley was the head coach, but he had never played football. He was a basketball coach. He took it because people kept just coming and leaving. And he loved his school. He loved Simsport High. And he wanted to give a little stability for the kids.
Okay.
But he said, I don't know nothing about football, so you tell me everything on offense and defense.
Okay.
Well, I had gone to a coaching clinic in New Orleans with Coach Douglas. That's how we got to talking about coming back to Vols Parish. And Coach Bill Yeoman was one of the guest speakers. He was the head football coach at the University of Houston, and he ran that there triple option.
Mm-hmm.
Split backfield triple option. And man, I just fell in love with that. I bought his book, he had a playbook, and I bought it. And I just loved what they were doing. I mean, when you run a ball at somebody that was unblocked.
Yeah.
So I said, no, no, let me see here. That means I can take two people and put them on one rather than one-on-one and fool him.
Right.
Play with his brain.
Right.
And beat him. And he showed us film of them beating Ole Miss.
Mm.
And this defensive tackle, it was an All-American. They would run it right at him. And he went crazy. He would tackle a ball carrier, and then a guy would run off with the ball.
Yeah.
He'd either beat the guy or
Yeah.
So it was a new thing then. And so anyhow, I had a great influence on me. And so we kind of started fiddling with the triple option, but the boys over there didn't know much about football, so
Okay.
it was a rough time. But that's what we did. And so I got my feet wet right there at Simmsport High School. The next year I was at Marksville High. Coach Douglas got me over there.
That's your alma mater, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was the first year, 1970. We had a pretty good football team. Our quarterback was a good little quarterback, and and Coach Douglas wanted to run the triple option, but he didn't want to run the split back. He wanted the wishbone. He liked people in the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started practicing. We had a fullback that was really, really good, two halfbacks, and one of them was the brother of the fullback, and he was fast as greased lightning. So anyhow, we ran that first game. Quarterback breaks his leg.
Oh.
Sounds like
You know that feeling?
sounds like, yeah.
And
Sounds like my boy.
So needless to say that causes a big stir.
Yeah.
And so what happened, we moved a guard to quarterback. And he couldn't run out of sight. He was a great guy, smart, he could hand the ball off good. And so we basically ran the full house. We just handed the ball
There you
off,
go.
Right.
left and right. And we won a few games, but we struggled
Yeah.
a lot. And couldn't throw the ball, just stuff it in people's faces. And then Coach Douglas became the principal.
Mm.
And all of a sudden, I'm fixing to get a new head coach, or I want to be the coach.
Right.
I'm 26 years old now.
Right.
So
got you.
Coach
years
Douglas,
ready.
Coach Douglas didn't think I was ready. He knew I wasn't ready,
Mm-hmm.
but that didn't matter. I wanted the job.
Right.
And so it got to late July, and we still didn't have a new head coach. So I walked up into his office one day, and in the summer, walked up. It was raining. I just walked through the rain. It was sizzling on me. I was so mad. I was ready to see something happen. I went and I sat down and I said, Coach Douglas, am I going to get a chance to be the head coach, and you're going to hire somebody? Because it's time to get it done. The boys deserve that. And he had been trying.
Mm.
So he got up. He said, all right. He called me, you little punk. He said, all right, you little punk. So he got on the phone and he called my coach and offered him the job. The guy turned it down. Hung it up, called another guy. And I knew these guys. They were in the district with us. And offered him the job. He turned it down. He looked at me and said, all right, big boy, you're going to be the coach. You got some big shoes to fill. And you better be ready, because you're going to make a lot of mistakes. But you gotta overcome it. I said, yes, sir. And so it was me and one other coach. That was it.
Oh, wow.
One assistant.
Wow.
That was it in them days, And so I took the job, and of course I wanted to run triple option, and that's what we did. We ran it, and it wasn't a hybrid, and we were pure read it and everything else. And people said you can't do it in high school.
Mm-hmm.
They kept being pessimistic about, well, we did it. Of course, we practiced.
Right.
And
And Katie Hanna still.
in 2 years, my record was 1 and whatever. One game. And but nobody was hollering and yelling. We just didn't have kids. But after that, we started getting some kids. The program started rolling. I had 2 little brothers that were coming in there, and it was their time. And 1975, we came out second in district and made the playoffs.
Oh, wow.
And triple option, straight triple option. Beat, I remember Pineville was just big. They had the super studded up quarterback and all of that stuff. And I can tell you one of my stories.
Go ahead.
I went to get my hair cut on Thursday afternoon at the barber shop.
That's how old this story is.
And so I went to the barber shop, and yeah, that's when I so and old boy, his name was Joe Mitchell, and he said he cut my hair. I said, cool. My come see you back. I want to show you something. So I went through the back door, and he had a trailer, and inside that trailer was this big bull. Had 2 horns on it and food coloring with stripes, just like a tiger. Looked like a tiger with horns. He said, you think I could bring that to the stadium? And we were playing Bolton High School, which Bolton hadn't lost a game in 2 years, they were good. And I said, oh yeah, you can bring that. Sure, yeah. So I told him, I said, what time to bring it on? I said, I don't want you walking it around. Just take it out and let people see a little bit and put it back and go. Okay. So I'm on the field talking to the offensive coordinator for Bolton High School, Mike Peavy. Mike is sitting there, he'd be a sharp cookie, boy. They had a good football team. And he's talking to me, but he's facing the other direction. And I hear the truck pull up and I hear, Colonel, get back, bum, and I turn around. And he got a prod, and he's prodding that bull and backing it up out of that thing. And all the people that stand, they all got that 5:30, like Santa Monica, to get a seat. Right. It was a big game.
Yeah.
And he backed him out of there and turned that bull around and he faced the crowd. And them cool asses went nuts. I'm telling you, they were salivating in their mouth. They went nuts. And that guy looked at them and said, what is that? I said, that's our tiger, boy. We're the Marksville Tigers. I said, our tiger got horns. I said, y'all got a bear, but we got a tiger. Y'all's is a lot. They had a stuffed bear.
Yeah.
I said, y'all is stuffed, but ours is alive. He said, I gotta go. I'll see you later. I could see him swallowing. He was nervous, And he went and talked to Coach Sanders. Aubrey Sanders, the head coach. He said, I believe these cats are crazy, boy. So they had beat us 52-0 the year before.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And now we played them at our place. This time they beat us 7-0 because we juggled a punt on our 10-yard line. Sounds to me like LSU. Right? But this was on the 10-yard line. They had 1st and goal from the 10. It took them 4 downs to make the touchdown. He had a 265-pound fullback. And he was good. It was all stater and all that. And our little guys just played their tails off. And when somebody gets emotional and gets, I was just in there before you came watching Appalachian State, Texas A&M.
Oh, yeah.
And I identify with Appalachian State because I've been the underdog most of my life. And you were too when you were at Santa Monica. A lot of times we were underdog, play Catholic high or whatever. But that's what the thrill of coaching was for me, is to see those guys get together as a unit and say, no, we're not accepting that.
That's right.
We're going to change that. We're going to get together. We're going to practice hard, and we're going to change that. And that's what has driven me all my life as far as coaching.
And not to get ahead, but a little bit of that, Coach. Prior to you arriving at Santa Monica, like winning wasn't really an expectation,
Yeah, we didn't. That mindset hadn't been
like you got there and you started, building one.
But let me say this, Chuck: the people were hungry.
Oh, they were.
Yes.
Right.
I mean,
that's right.
I know I'm getting ahead.
Yeah.
Boy, I couldn't ask for a better situation for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So you had Marksville,
and then that led you on to where'd you go from Marksville?
Well, I was in my hometown, and the hometown, that ain't a good place to be. and I was young now.
Everybody knows you, and everybody knows that. Hey, you should run this.
I was T-Dub. My daddy was Doug. I was T-Dub.
Yeah, so Doug. Yeah.
And I remember Joe Michel, the barber, at a quarterback club meeting one night. He he said something derogatory about one of my players. And shit, I climbed over the table, I was going after him, and they had to restrain me. I mean, that's how, you know, I mean, he didn't even play football, you know, and I knew that. And boy, it just hit me wrong, and I just went after him. And I'm glad I didn't get to him, but the people could see how passionate I was about this, you know, but they weren't. It's just that, like you said, the expectations are not high.
Yeah.
They were zero, and it drove me crazy. And I remember I stayed there 6 years, and in my 6th year, I was very miserable. And I remember the last day of school, sitting down in the bleachers at school while the kids were getting out, and the ladies' PE teacher, who I have tremendous respect for, came and sat down next to me. She said, "Boy, you need to get your tail out of here. You ain't a fit for this place. You need to go where you can go. You need to find a place where you can get with it, boy." And so my daddy, my mama was tax assessor. She didn't run, my daddy died in office, and she ran for unexpired term and was tax assessor.
Okay.
She had this guy that had been, it had this job working for Tobin Surveys, which was a big map company, and they had agreements with all companies, and they would plot maps and plot the oil and gas activity and send it to San Antonio and the headquarters. So she said, "That job is open. He's retiring. Would you think you would want that job?" I said, "Yes." I mean, I was flustered.
Yeah.
So I did. I took the job. I went and told Coach Douglas, "That's it. I'm going." "Oh, no, you just upset." "No, I'm not.
I'm done.
I'm done. I've had enough."
Yeah.
So I tried it out. And of course, I had my yellow tablet with me everywhere I went. I'd have to spend the night in Arkansas, a couple of nights a month, to check oil and gas in Arkansas. It's 7 counties in Arkansas. So I stayed with them for a while, and then I wanted to be back in coaching so bad. So Wynn Parish had a lot of oil and gas activity, and the coach was Larry Daughtry at Winfield High School.
Yep.
You ever heard of him?
So Coach Daughtry and I were buddies, because when I first took over in Marksville, I knew zero about the passing game, and he was the guru. So I would drive an hour and a half every afternoon after school and sit with him and talk football with him, the passing game. We'd get in the gym, and he was fantastic. He'd set up chairs. That's the defense, and and he would show me how to run option routes and just all kind of stuff that he did. He was way ahead of everybody else. So he and I got in some wars. I never beat him, but every time our players played their tails off, and they beat us in the last. In fact, my last or second to last game season at Marksville High, we played Winfield on our field, and they were undefeated, and we were undefeated at the time. We're 5-0, they were 5-0. They had all kind of college prospects on their team. We didn't have any, but we played them, and we had a 8-7 lead going into the 8-7. Yeah, it was 8-7. Anyhow, we had a lead on them going into. It was 8-0 going into the 4th quarter. So they line up to kick a. No, when they go for it on 4th down and they don't make it, we offsides.
Oh.
So the 5-yard penalty, they still can't get another 1st down.
Okay.
And in the backfield, they had out of the 4 people in their backfield, 3 of them ended up in college.
Oh, wow.
That's how good they were, you know. So anyhow, we held them. They had to line up for a field goal. I called timeout. I said, "Boys, we got 8 points. There's no way they're going to kick a field goal.
Right.
So this is what we're going to do. We're going to line up 5. We were 50 defense. We're going to line up 5 guys. Cornerbacks, y'all play everybody played your position.
Basically, yeah. Play
Okay, but I mean, this was like a no-brainer to me. So they lined up and the guy took the ball, took off running with it that way, stopped and threw it back across the field, screen pass, they scored. It went for 2 and they made it. And then they had a 2-minute drive at the end of the game and they scored. And they ended up beating us 15-8.
Yeah.
But he understood what I could do with a football team.
Yeah.
Because he was, what he don't know is the year before, when we played them in Winfield, one of the district coaches called me and said, Coach, you know, when I went over there last year, I found a game plan in the locker room. And it was from Tioga. He said it was Tioga versus Winfield. And so he said, I got that thing and I studied what they were gonna do. And I went and told the team all kind of changes we made and all that stuff. He said, and they didn't do none of that. So he said, check your locker room and see, make sure. So I did, and I found a game plan. And it was his terminology, because I had talked to him,
Yeah.
see, brown left, black right, this, you know.
Yeah.
So I said, okay. So I had that. So when we played in Marshfield the next year, I gave my defensive secondary, I gave the whole team, this is how they call their formations. And I knew that. And so when they would come out in a black formation, they were hollering, black, 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 brown, brown. They were whipping out the formations on it. And these guys were saying, man, what the hell, they in a huddle with us? What's going on? And our guys were playing their guts out, you know. So we ended up losing the game.
Right.
But all them people in Winfield saw that. And Coach Dotry saw that. So I'm running around and the oil and gas activity is real heavy in Wind Parish. So I'd go in the morning and I'd chart out gas. And it was spring training. So I'd run over there and I'd watch Winfield play spring training. I was sitting up in the press box. It was cold. And that time you could do it in January. And boy, Coach Dotry was running up and down that field. He was so emphatic and so excited about football and everything. So anyhow, he says, so a little bit later on, I went to visit him. Spring training was over. He said, I was in his office. He said, best job in the state's fixing to come over. He was helping me look for jobs. I even applied for a Eunice job and I didn't get it.
Okay.
Hang on one second.
All right. Okay, so,
Best job.
yeah.
Best job was coming
He said,
available.
best job in the state's fixing to come over. I said, yeah, where is that? I said, where is that? He said, here, Winfield. I said, well, where are you going? He said, my lifelong dream job. I said, well, you going back to Lafayette High? No, I'm going to Louisiana Tech as offensive coordinator. Whoa, I said, well, they're not gonna hire me, man. I said, I had a 26-28 record at Marksville and won. So I said, they're not gonna hire me, man. He said, yeah. He said, Mr. Bankston, Tommy Bankston's at the school board office. He has film on us of our games.
Yeah.
And he'll offer you the job today if you go over there. I said, what? I didn't know where the school board office was. So I said, where is it at? So he told me. I went over there and I walked into his office and he sat down with me. And this was superintendent, you know. He had been the coach at Winfield High. He had been the principal at Winfield High, and I was the superintendent of schools in Wind Parish. Super guy. So anyhow, he says, Coach Moreau, why in the world would you want to get back into coaching when you got this job and this cushy job with this big fancy pickup truck that I drove up in and all that? And he was talking to me. I said, what? I said, well, Mr. Bankston, I ain't going just anywhere. I said, I tell you what, I want to go to some place that's serious about wanting to win the state championship. I said, I want to play for all the marbles. You hear his hand? by God, you stood, you at the right place, boy. He said, I'll offer you this job right here, right now. He said, I'll give you 2 days to make your mind up. I won't even open it up. Now, that team that I was talking, that I was, the year before, last season, they were 10-0. They lost in the first round. But they were 10-0. They had the #1 recruit in the nation, Ricky Chapman,
I heard of him.
that name.
coming
He
back.
was my coach. He was one of our assistants.
And what ended up being the #1 recruit in the nation the next year was Jeffrey Dale. Both of them went to LSU. Those were on that team. Jeffrey was 6'4", about 210, run 4.4. Ricky was 6'2", about 220. He run 4.4. I mean, these were fantastic athletes. So I said, man, he gave me the card, the keys to a fast car right here. And I said, I'll take it. So I said, all right. I said, let me go home and talk to my
Gotta
wife.
talk to the boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went home. She was ready to get out of Marksville. Because in Marksville, I had all my buddies.
Yeah.
Every week they called, we going fishing, we going hunting. And I was just, I love, hunting, fishing. I love it. And I was gone so much. And we didn't have any kids at the time, so she got left at home by
Yeah.
herself. And so she was ready to go.
And she probably knew you wanted to get back into coaching as well.
Oh, yeah, she
That-
knew.
that
She
was
was
your passion.
applying for these jobs.
Yeah,
right.
You know.
So she said, they got a Catholic church. I said, yep. Coach Tree said they got a Catholic church. I said, it's a mission church. I said, the priest comes every Sunday at 11 o'clock and says mass. And I said, he even said he'll give us his apartment when he goes so we can get started, get our foot in the door. She said, okay, let's go. Called up Mr. Bankston. And he said, the only requirement I got for you is be here for spring training. I said, I wouldn't have it no other way,
Right.
Mr. Bankston. So I remember walking in the first day at Winfield High School in my life.
What year that was?
That was 1979.
79.
I was walking in and I saw this big, tall guy walking in. Hello, Coach Moreau. My name is Jeffrey Dale. I'll be playing ball for you. I'll play defensive back and running back. Boy, just really nice, clean-cut guy. The people in that school, they had pride like you wouldn't believe, man. It was totally opposite from where I was coming from. So I met with the team in the auditorium, and the rest was history. We got going. We lost in the semifinals that year to John Curtis. And that's 79. In 80, we didn't make the playoffs. We came out second, but by tiebreaker rules, we didn't get to go.
Yeah.
And we had it. We had beat the state champion in AAA. We beat that team. We were AA. So I knew, man, we were ready to win the whole thing. No, we didn't get to go because we lost one game in district. We got upset. So then that was 79, 80. 81, we make it to the playoffs again. In semifinals, we lose again. We lose to E.D. White. We came right over there to Thibodeau and played them in the semifinals and lost 15-8. I believe, like something like that. 15-7, 15-8. And we ran up and down the field, up in a triple option, split backfield, up and down the field, and we just didn't punch it in on third and fourth down, right on the goal line with a minute left. We could have won the game or tied it. So the next year, and I only had 6 seniors on the team that year. The next year, and I didn't say it, you know how I can push you pretty hard. Well, I had 7 boys that quit my team in 81. It was too hard. They said I was pushing too hard. Now, I had 28 guys left. They called them the Great 28. And them suckers were tough, buddy. And so,
Coach, we joked that kids today wouldn't have made none of your teams.
Yeah.
They all quit.
Yeah, well,
Between you and Segura and all, I mean,
it's a different time.
Yeah.
Yogi told me that the other day. I went to watch the practice. Yogi told me. Them boys around here, they never make one of them teams. So anyhow, we came back and them 7 boys come crawling on their knees.
Want it back on.
When we was loading the bus to go to Edie White, Coach, we made a mistake. I hope you consider taking them. All young guys. I hope you consider taking us back next year. I said I might, but I'm not real sure. You just have to wait it out, boy. So we went on. We played. We lost. We came home. It was heartbreaking. Well, I let them back. And so we ended up with 40 kids on the team the following year.
Okay.
And we had just about the whole team returning. Our quarterback graduated, played at Louisiana Tech. But the quarterback I had coming up was a sophomore, moving to junior year, and he was fantastic. His name was Thomas King. And he was smart, he could throw, he was fast, and great decision maker. And I mean, he was smooth as glass, big hands, man. He could take that ball and flick it out there like nothing. So we had a fantastic season. The first game of the year, we played Neville. Now, Neville at the time was either state champion or not.
Yeah, it was the Rustons and the
Power
Neville,
House.
that whole district was just
Yeah,
a.
That's right. So we played them, and they tore us up. But what it did, it exposed all the spots we had. I had a guy playing tight end and linebacker, and we swapped them. The linebacker guy was big, pretty, just really strong guy, but he couldn't react and play. He was like a feet were in cement. The other guy was quicker, and so we hoped he could handle it. He played strong side linebacker at a 4-3. And the other guy went to tight end. Man, as a tight end, he was fantastic. He couldn't catch them. He couldn't catch a cold in the last but he could arc block and smack your tail, boy. He was a big, strong guy, power clean, that whole weight room, the whole thing like that. And a fantastic human being, boy.
Yeah.
And just a recent boy. He ended up playing at Southern. I mean, it was college scholarship all over the place.
Right.
The whole backfield, except all the perimeter people on that team, played college ball, scholarships. The flanker, he was a state champion in a 100-meter dash, 10.33. The tight end went to Southern. The 2 running backs, one of them went to Louisiana Tech, one of them went to McNeese. The split end was 5'6", 120. He didn't get a scholarship, but you didn't want to meet him in a dark alley because he could be tough. He was real aggressive. One of the 2 defensive tackles, one was 6'4", one was 6'6". The guy 6'6" went to BYU. The guy 6'4", his mama wouldn't let him play. We're letting because he had a brother that was 6'7" that had played at Ole Miss and ended up committing suicide. And she was concerned about losing another son.
Yeah.
So he went to Louisiana Tech in track. He threw the discus and won the junior world championship kind of thing. I mean, he left weighing 190 pounds and came back weighing about 250. He was just,
Yeah.
he's a 747 jet pilot.
Really?
Okay.
Flies for UPS, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, all of these guys ended up being something special in life. So anyhow, we got going in the season and we were not playing together. And we had a pep rally. We played the first game to Neville and we got slaughtered. But then we got people in the right spots and we felt like we had a pretty good team, but it just wasn't gelled up good. We played Parkway. Now Parkway's a 4A school in
Shreveport?
Bossier City,
Yeah.
Shreveport area. And we beat it 25-23, but we should have slaughtered them. We were just giving away opportunities and all of that and weren't playing good. So we had and then we played Pineville. We beat Pineville 39-38 or some kind of crazy deal. But we had an open date after that. And I took them in an open date, son, and it was war. I wanted to run one of the guys off. The best player we had, he just wasn't committed enough to me. And so we had full speed punt coverage. We put the big gun back there, returning punts with the JVs. And starting, and look, they were drawing straws to see who could get on that team, but they wanted to straighten him up. And boy, we plastered it. And we kept, and then we did kickoff for full speed, kickoff coverage. Get back over that boy. I ain't gonna use his name because he's very close to me right now.
Yeah.
And he got back there and it got after him. So I said, well, he's gonna quit now. Mm-mm. He bowled his neck up, and we played Gina after that, after the open day. And he had 4 carries for 4 touchdowns and an interception for another touchdown. And 5 touchdowns. 5 touches, 5 touchdowns.
Wow.
He was awesome, boy. And from then on, and the score at the end of the first quarter was 34-0, 51 at halftime. 51-0. And I mean, we kept pouring it on, and we ended up, 72 to something. But what you don't understand is the fourth quarter, we'd hold them, they'd punt to us, we'd punt back.
Mm-hmm.
No offensive plays.
Just punt it right back.
Now, one time they fumbled a punt, we punched it across and we started over again.
Yeah.
After the game, Coach Causey walked up, and I thought he was going to shoot me, you know. He came up and he said, Coach Moreau, I want to thank you. People are going to look at this score and see that y'all ran it up on us.
Yeah.
But y'all didn't run it. Y'all just the best football team I've ever seen. He said, I know you could have put 100 on us real easy tonight, and I appreciate it. And I was agreeing with him. I mean, the power that I saw, and the guys looking around said, "Oh, we could be good." This was AAA team too. We ain't played no AA teams in non-district.
Mm-hmm.
So we rocked along from then on, and from then on, we would slaughter people. And I would tell the guys, I said, all right, get what you can, because at halftime, I'm taking you out and putting the JVs in. I don't want nobody getting hurt.
Right.
Because we got the playoffs.
Right.
I mean, we wanted to win, and it wasn't just when we would play. We had our Iowa State championship. So we did. We got in the playoffs, and I mean, we were bleeding. 50 points was nothing for that team. Like I said, those running backs were fantastic. Quarterback was fantastic. Tight end was fantastic. Flanker back, he could fly like the wind, boy. You just say, go long. We'd catch it and he was gone. So we got down to E.D. White again. Same situation. Semifinals.
Mm.
They undefeated. We got 1 defeat. And we're playing to go to the Dome. That was the second year of the Superdome Classic. We're playing to go to the Dome. And we get up there and the weather's bad. And Chuck, I believe in God real strong.
Mm-hmm.
So anyhow, they delayed the start of the game. It was a thunderstorm and all that stuff, and lightning going on and all that. So we were in this gym with our players, and all the big guns were in there, and the referees all deciding whether we're going to play tonight or move it to tomorrow. That was the decision.
Right.
We're going to wait and play tonight. Now, we got all these people from Winfield in town and all that. I mean, it's a lot.
4-hour drive.
That's right, a lot of logistics going on. The bus driver said, I got to bring my bus back. Y'all going to have to find a way home. So I walked outside that gym and I stood there in that little lobby and I said, Lord, please help me. I don't know which way to go. Boom! Lightning hit the tree tunnel. Yes, sir. I went back in and said, that's it.
Yeah.
We'll check back in the motel and all that. So everybody left and everybody had to go home. Some people stayed, and checked in motels and all. We checked back into the motel. Next morning I get up, I call AD from Thibodeau, from Nicholls State, Mr. Landry. I said, I knew it. Coach, I said, you reckon we could get a gym over there to practice in? I said, we need to have a little workout. Oh, he said, sure. We get in there with this big college PE gym. It's like 2 or 3 gyms together. No walls and nothing, boy. So we get in there and we have us a workout, son. Flying around, throwing passes, catching, we excited and all that stuff. And you can see they raise a sharp. They've been sitting.
They're ready.
Right.
Wait,
Fancy.
Yeah. In fact, that guy that was so fast I told you about, when we played E.D. White the year before, some guys intimidated him. They tackled him and he was a little black guy. And they started calling him slur names and all of that, and they intimidated him. Man, he was like a little jello after that. Well, boy, our boys was thinking, boy, you better not get,
That's
you
right.
better be ready to go this tonight.
You better stay.
So,
Get it ready.
so we get up there, and so we come back the next day, 6 o'clock game. So I'm at the motel with the guy, and one of the booster club members comes and says, Coach, he said, swing by the Civic Center, leave a little early, swing by the Civic Center over there. I said, there's a few people want to wish you good luck. I said, okay. So we get in the bus and we're leaving for the stadium. We go into the Civic Center and we walk down this little tunnel and it opens up. The city of Winfield is in that. And them suckers are all back, and I believe they recruited some. And boy, they just started.
Yeah.
Boy, man, I talk about.
Because now it's a Saturday. Now it's a Saturday, and everybody can.
Can make it.
Yeah, they off of work now, so.
The kicker for me, I look leaning over there, leaning on the wall like that, doing this. Is that PE teacher that I told you you needed to get out there?
Right.
She's doing this like.
There you go.
I said, what is this? That's a ghost. And I went over there and I hugged her. She said, doing pretty good, Coach. And that was, that was fantastic, man. So we get in the game. We kick off to them. We hold them 3 and out. They punt to us. The little guy is back there, the jet plane catches it. House. Takes it. We run through the whole team. They don't touch it. 7-0. We kick off to them, hold them again, they kick to us.
No way.
Touchdown. Touchdown. We beat them 50-8.
Oh.
And then
He said, talk some more crap.
it was 34-0 at halftime. It was 34-0 at halftime. And so I told the guys, I said, look, first series, starters go in, reestablish the tempo. We receive the second half kickoff. Reestablish things, and then we send the JVs in.
Yeah.
So we do that, and we get the ball, we kind of drive it down the field. And in the course of a season, you work on a lot of plays that you don't get to run.
Yeah.
Right.
So now the plug is out, boy. We calling everything. So
Let's see if this works.
we told the guys before the game, they like to blitz every now and then on pass it down. So this is what we're gonna do. And we had a name for it. I forget what the name was, but it was, we drop it back to throw, and all receivers run little comebacks, and because they go man to man. And wherever Benny, the wide receiver that's so fast, wherever he's at, he's running deep, throwing the ball. So we had 34-0, and we get up there, we fix it up. And look, they fixing a blitz, and they're strong safety. We happen to be in a slot, which we didn't get in almost the whole season. And he's in the slot, and strong safety, big 185-pound fullback gets the lines up on him, and he checked to it. And of course, Benny just he beats him like 15 yards and catches the ball for a touchdown. Well, boy, that coach on the other side of the field was beside himself because I was running up the score.
You blitz, boss.
Well, he doesn't understand all the logistics of this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, his son was playing, and he called his son, and Benny held for extra points. And his son just came in and just crushed him, 15-yard penalty. But we ended up slaughtering him. And we make it to the dome. We're playing Jordan Curtis. Jordan Curtis was 3-time defending state champion. They hadn't lost a game.
3 times.
Yeah.
They hadn't lost a game to a AA school in 46 games. That's who we're
And
going
it
to
went
play.
on and became a.
Oh, yeah.
And I told them guys, I said, boys, we're not going to let them upset us.
That's
We're
right.
the best team. And we were. Well, the first quarter was 20-0, our favor. We were just going nuts, just everything. They couldn't understand how fast we were. I mean, we got on that road, God, them jet planes were faster, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
And, ended up, they found one play didn't work, scored 2 touchdowns right before the half. And in the second half, we didn't let them score again. And we kicked the field goal late in the game to make it a 2-score game. It was over, we were state champions. So that was a fantastic thrill.
Did you get hoisted up in the air?
I sure did, man. They took pictures of it and all that. And you know, Chuck, I don't let nobody raise their finger.
Right.
Unless they are.
You was able to do it, yeah.
Unless they are.
That's right.
Boy, listen, I want to put the boys on. And I did too. He took a picture of me. I had my finger on that. So that was a great thing. It was so good for the community, man. It was so together, you know. And I had an old uncle. He'd come to maybe 2 games before. We didn't lose very many games.
Yeah.
Both of the games he came to, we lost.
You
And
ain't
he
coming-
shows up in the dome and he's
Yeah.
sitting behind my wife.
You the hell.
It don't look too good. You know, when they started coming back, it don't look too good. You know, his name was Uncle Charlie. Uncle Charlie, please be quiet. You know, it didn't matter. We beat him anyhow.
There you go.
And
So after that year, how many years you stayed there? Like how?
I stayed a couple more after that, but I got this feeling, Chuck, that I wanted to go south. And I was getting job offers left and right. I got this job offer from Bastrop High School. And the superintendent came to my house. Well, I went to see Bastrop. What is Bastrop High School? And it was all run down and all that. So the superintendent told me, said, make a wish list. Let's see if I can handle it. Well, I made a wish list. And I'm my new season ticket section where chairback seats, new weight room. They didn't have a weight room.
Right.
New coach's offices, new locker room. I said, I don't want to teach any classes. Give me something to do that I can help with administration, but I don't want, because my mind ain't on PE class.
Yeah.
It's on something else. So anyhow, I gave it to her. Called back, go, anything else you want? Because I got that. I said, well, I said, give me a week to think about it. Okay. After about a week, I get a phone call. I'm coming to visit with you tonight. Now, he's up in Bastrop.
Bastrop, yeah.
So he shows up at my house and he's got the principal. And I had done some investigating on the principal. And he wasn't too pro athletics.
Mhm.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So the man comes and he gets in my recliner and he comes back and he's talking to me about, you know, about all what we're gonna do and what we can do. And he's trying to talk me into committing to it. And the last thing I said, you know, Mr. So-and-so, I said, I understand. I didn't know he was bringing the principal, but I said, you want to know, I'm gonna tell you.
That's right.
I understand Mr. So-and-so right there is a hard principal to work for. And boy, he popped up in that recliner and he said, Coach Moreau, if he don't work with you, I'll fire him. Well, that wasn't a good thing to be saying.
Right.
You know, the principal is the guy that I answer to, that I have to work
Right.
for. So when he said that, I said,
Right.
this is trouble.
Yep.
So they left. And I have an ottoman, you know, like I got an ottoman in our little den. We had the TV set with the VCR and that little light blinking. And I got on my knees that night. Everybody went to bed. I got on my knees and I started praying for the Lord to help me because I didn't know what to do. I knew I didn't want to hurt my family. That was the main thing.
Right.
All I could think about it was my little kids having to go to school somewhere. And I wanted that to, I knew Winfield was a good place.
Yeah.
But I knew I didn't want to stay there. And I prayed and I prayed and I cried. I was twisted in 40 pieces. And about 3 o'clock in the morning, I was still there kneeling praying. By 3 o'clock in the morning, I felt a warm ring come around the top of my head and just start going down. And boy, I was like, whoa. And it went around my shoulders, went through my whole body. and went out my feet. And I heard the Lord. He said, don't take this job. If you'd have wanted it, you'd have took it. But take the next job, because I'm going to send it to you. Oh, wait a minute now. He added to the deal, see? So, that's it. I felt a total peace come over my body. Total calmness. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. Got up, man. I laid down for about an hour. I popped up, ready to go to school again, you know. Call the man up, not come. And this time, I told, this is it.
Yeah.
So I told my wife what went on. And I said, the kicker is the next job that I'll get a call for, I'm taking. She said, what if it's not? I said, if it's Podunk High, we're going.
Well, it was.
Anyway, it was.
Let me tell you something. I went to, I was scheduled to be
Hang on, 1 second, schedule.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
Your schedule.
I was scheduled to be a coordinator for the All-Star game. It was in Lafayette.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't even play it anymore.
Yeah.
But at the time, that was a big deal. You know, I had players that were playing in it and all that. But I was going to be a coordinator. You know, that's the gopher for the other coach. I had just finished being a coach.
Right.
In '83, I was a coach. So I was scheduled to go there. And it's July. And I'm taking a bath one night and the phone rings. And my wife brings me the phone and says, I don't know who this is. She gives me the phone. Hey, this is Laurel Shake's daughter from Santa Monica, Louisiana. You know what it's at? I said, I ain't got a clue. I said, is that by the Amy River? No, not damn. You know? I said, this is a coon ass, boy. He said, you know, Coach Moreau, we done our homework and we looking for a new coach. And we've talked to a lot of people and you're the guy we want. I said, he said, do you know where Santa Mo's at? I said, no. I said, I didn't even know there was such a school as Santa Mo. He said, well, it's by Gonzalez, but we don't like to say that too much. That was my first taste of Santa Mo.
Right.
So anyhow, he said, I'm gonna give you the name of the principal and his phone number. And if you like to call him and tell him you'd like to apply for the job. I said, okay. So that was it. So I told my wife, I said, I don't know where Santa Mo's at, but we're going. She said, you're crazy. I said, no, I'm not. I said, I made a deal. So the phone rings again. Hello, my name is Perry Sheets. I'm a school board member. Blah, blah, blah. Please come and be our coach. But let me tell you something. If you apply, make sure you want to take it because you're going to get it. I said, yes, sir. Hang up the phone. Well, now I'm going to Lafayette for the All-Star game.
Right.
So that's not that hop, step, and a jump. Cuts off a little distance from Winfield. So I leave Lafayette and I drive to Santa Mo and I meet Mr. Giffen. I meet Richard Brown. He shows me the place. When I walked into the school and smelled that old carpet.
Cool. Yeah.
Oh, no, Lord. Not this. Oh. And then I went and looked into the locker room. And well, they were building a new field house at the time. It wasn't finished yet. The helmets, old Rydell helmets with suspension. When you'd run the whistle, you know, that's what I had when I played. And, but as I looked at it, and it was a 5A school now.
The 4A.
And it was 4A.
No, yeah, 4A. The biggest. It was the biggest school.
Yeah. And as I looked at this stuff, I was thinking, boy, this is a big operation. You know, it's a lot of stuff, but it's so much needs to be done. And I didn't know how the community would be. Well, I just come from a community before Winfield. It was
Yeah.
not a good community for its building. And I love Marksville now. I want you to know that.
Mhm.
So anyhow, I went to interview for the job. And I interviewed, I told them what I wanted, blah, 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 blah. And so when I got through, they said, you can hire one assistant. I said, okay. If you get the job, there's one assistant job. I said, okay. They said, go sit in that bench over there. Open the door to that and go sit in the bench. About 5 minutes later, come back, you got a job. That's how quick it works. I said, the Lord works fast.
And what year was this?
He don't mess around, son.
That was what, 85?
85.
85. Okay.
And Chuck, what I was hoping for existed. The people were hungry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They were good people. They were my kind of people. Santa Maria was not a city. It was a postal district.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you can't get excited about a post office. You gotta get excited for your school.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the people were so passionate about this school. I didn't know the history behind all of that, but I knew that Santa Maria High was a passionate place. But the equipment was way behind the times and
Right.
all. And Mr. Giffen, who was fantastic for me, I met with him at the super stop over there in Sorrento. After I got a job, and he said, Coach Moreau, he said, you just go and do everything you can to make this program right. And he said, I'll back you all the way. In fact, I tell you what we'll do. We'll make a deal. I'll take care of the school, and you take care of the athletic department. If you ever need me, let me know. I'll kick butt for you. And buddy, that was a strong statement, but it got tested a couple of times, and boy, he didn't mix no words. He knew how to get at somebody's tail, and he had the power
Yeah.
to shake somebody up. So I was able to hire Coach Swacker. Now, Coach Swacker was at Minden.
Mm-hmm.
We had played Minden my first year. They beat us 10-9. My second year, we beat them, and they won the state championship in AAA. And that's the year that we didn't even get to play.
We didn't play, yeah.
So, but I got to know him. He was a heck of a track coach, and we were serving on a coach's executive committee together. So at the meetings, as I went back over there, he said, you got that job at Sam? I said, yeah, I think I'm gonna take it. He said, if you get hired, he said, I'd like to come down there with you if you'd like me. Oh, I said, hell yeah, that's a good, and then we talking July 28th or something. It's not like you find somebody,
Yeah.
So anyhow, when I got the job, I called him SWAT. So he called his principal and told me he was coming to Santa Maria. Then there was a little problem with Coach Swacker was white and wanted a black coach, but they never told me that. And I didn't have a problem with a black coach, as they found out later. And so, but I'd already asked Coach Swacker,
Right,
he
and laid the offer out.
resigned his job.
Right. Yeah.
So I said, that ain't the way it's gonna be. And I said, I hired Coach Swacker, and that's the one I want. And I said, if he goes, I go. And that was a big mouthful.
Yeah.
And they called, Ralph Ricardo was in Paris on vacation. And Ralph was a super smart man. He said, okay. He said, Coach Moreau's gonna keep that guy. He said, but when they lose a coach, they can't hire another one. I know, if you lose a coach, you gotta be a black coach.
Yeah, hire a minority.
So I said, that's no problem.
Right.
I had already talked to one that I promised the next job. I'd already talked to her. So, it was scary. But my wife was in Winfield and I was practicing football in Santa Maria because it was the time switches were.
Yeah.
We couldn't jive it all up. So she was busy trying to sell the house and I was back practicing football. And one day right after practice, I got a phone call, hey, the moving van is at your house. And we were on Buxton Road. We got a house on Buxton Road. So I left there and went. When I got there was about 40 people there. to unload that 18 wheel. My wife was crying because, you know, that's a heck of a job.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And went in the pantry, all the canned goods were already there. It was full of canned goods people had brought. I said, man, these people are sounding something, boy.
Yeah.
And she instantly fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And I remember our first time we went to Mass on Sunday at Holy Rosary. We went up there on the right where we still sit, and we were praying, and I was crying. I knew this was it. This was the Lord brought us here, and I was crying. The tears coming down my eyes. I looked over there, and I heard too. And that, you know, that has probably been the most profound thing that's ever happened to me in my life that night. No doubt about it. So I want everybody to know God lives.
Yes,
And
indeed.
he answers prayers. Maybe not the way you see it,
That's it. Yeah.
Right.
but he answers prayers. Because I certainly wouldn't have come here,
Right.
but he told me to come here. And
I mean, you sitting up there in Winfield with 6'4" guys,
Yeah.
6'7", 6'8" to come coach a bunch of 5'9".
But I had a bunch of 5'9" that wanted to
Oh,
go to
yeah.
work.
Oh yeah.
I remember my first practice at Santa Monica High, my first team at Santa Monica High. Well, the first day I met with them,
Uh-huh.
there was 60 guys in the room, in the commons area. And I was talking to them, and I told them how the cow gonna weed the cabbage. And you know, I didn't mix no words. I said, you're gonna cut your hair, you're gonna shave.
I bet that's during the mid-'80s when long hair boys and all. And
You're gonna cut your hair, and I said, you're gonna shave. You're gonna be clean cut. You're gonna use yes sir and no sir, and you're gonna take care of your schoolwork, or I'm gonna be all over you. I said, if you can't live with that, you need to get out of here now, because we're gonna start talking about building a team after that. And 6 seniors got up and walked out. I said, all right, 54 guys were left. I said, y'all ready to go? Yes, sir. I said, you guys with them long beards and all that tomorrow is shaved. Yes, sir. It'll be shaved. So that's how we got started. So we ended up.
that was a spring training of '85.
No.
That was the first season. That was August.
August.
Okay.
August.
August. Okay. August of '85.
So
you had a junior on that team. No, you had a senior on that team of Kim Batiste or something, huh?
yeah, sure was. So anyhow, we start practicing, and I heard there was a little party. Some beer drinking going on.
Yeah, I heard a few of those too. Huh?
So we had the first scrimmage we had was under the lights in the pit. I wanted to see what the lights looked like and all that. Some of them were twisted, all needed some fixing and all that. And when we got through, I lined them all up on the end zone line. So, all right, boys, understand we had a little party the other night, and there was some beer drinking going on. Boy, they started looking left and right. I said, I want every one of you to drink a beer to step forward. And I had 3 guys step forward. And they looked back, and they started pointing at us. So I'm going to tell you, 20 or 30 guys stepped up. I said, all right, the rest of you go get on the bus. You know, we grew the bus. I got my whistle and went at it. I said, you got $600 of benefits.
I hated hearing that.
You never had that, Chuck. Because I was letting it rip, and I wanted them to know that I meant business. And all my mamas and daddies were in the stands, and he'd come to see the script and say, what that crazy man do? He trying to kill him, boy. He was right. I was upset. And because we had just made a pledge to each other, you know?
Yeah.
And so as they were running, I was hollering at them. Yeah, we're going to drink some beer tomorrow night, too. Yeah, baby. I can't wait to get that beer. You're going to get to run 600 more, brother. And so there was 54 guys on that team, and we ended the season with 54 guys. We had a couple try and quit. They were running belly flops and said, no, this is too much. And somebody else would get them and say, no, come on, I'll run with you.
Right.
And they'd run with them so they could finish. That's a team.
Mm-hmm.
So they ended up 5-5. But I wouldn't have swapped that year for nothing because those guys battled. And I remember playing Tara High School at the pit. And we had started calling it the pit. And Tara needed to beat us to win the district championship. And when they got through with the game, we shook hands with them, and then they started stomping on our Gators. We had Gators written across, and they started stomping on them. And boy, our guys were going after them. I said, whoa, 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 whoa. And I turned around and said, guys, next year we're gonna win the district championship. And I said, they ain't got nothing to stomp on, but we gonna get on the 50-yard line and we gonna pray our Lord's Prayer like we always do. Don't you know, boy, we played them suckers. I'm gonna say it was the Memorial Stadium. And in fact, I know it was Memorial Stadium. And we won the district championship. Kim Baptiste had a deep thigh bruise, and he couldn't run full speed. He was dragging his leg. So
It's still faster than one.
Yeah.
so Mike Babin quarterbacked that and did a good job. But boy, late in the game, it ended up in a overtime game, and we held them, and they didn't score. So we got the ball, and of course Kim, the last series of the game, Kim said, "Coach, let me go in," and I let him go in. He could throw it more, threw a touchdown pass. That's how we tied the game. We get into overtime. It's 4th down and 4, and we run our little over right sprint out pass right, and that was our 2-point play. We ran that play, and he took it and he just drove the power and took it to the school. Boom! We win the district championship.
Yeah.
So, boys, I said, I believe we got to go on the 50-yard line and say a little prayer. Want to see last year's scene? Because we told them, y'all come pray with us.
Yeah.
They would jump in the fence, or they would come. Okay? And we got together and we prayed for great seasons to come and great seasons for the playoffs and all that.
Yeah.
It was a real good. Lucky it happened that way. Well, I say lucky, it was hard work that got it. But the teams at Sanamon were teams that were blood and guts teams. We didn't have all them.
Yeah, we never
Stud
had, we had like 1 or 2 coming through the year.
Every
We
now and
never
then.
We talking about years.
years.
The other schools on that, on Winfield, it was 3 or 4
A year.
per team.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that's more enjoyable for a coach than a team with all of the great players on, because of the unity and the blood and guts. I mean, you think how many close games we won. And
Any most memorable game of yours that like man, that was the best game ever?
well, I think Catholic High, when we beat them 44-42, that was just unbelievable.
On the field goal.
Yeah.
Brian DeSales field goal.
If you go look on YouTube, I just posted it on 14-0 had it. 14-0 Productions. They got the VHS. Boy, it's going, but I shared it on Facebook the other day.
Yeah, we talked about that the other day too.
You don't have John DeSales words on there,
No.
the daddy of Brian.
No, I don't have all that.
He was my roommate in college.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So anyhow, that was a phenomenal game, and
It was.
the field goal was phenomenal, but how we stopped them.
Right.
Yeah.
On the 19-yard line, because I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we had the first 3rd down situation or 4th down situation, we threw to Brady Edmonston on a drag route. And he caught it, and they tattooed him. And he hit that ground and bounced up and did it. First down, number 22. That kind of attitude is hard to deny.
Yeah.
And then Joe Miles got a first down right at the end, over formation, 36 option. Caught it and ran it down there. And then it was 12 seconds left. I remember this, Chuck. I had my hand in my pocket. I had a little crucifix in it. I was holding on to the Lord. You got to help me out here. And There was 12 seconds left, and it would have been about a 50-something yard field goal. And we could take a shot at it, and he might make it. But if we get closer, he could make it. So we ran 81 quick out, and Wade Walker ran a quick out and caught it, got out of bounds. Boom. And it said, it's 4 seconds left on the clock. All right, field goal. Remember how many times we had practiced that? With no time left, no timeouts,
Right.
got to run on the
Yeah,
field and kick it.
Yep.
And went on there and just kicked that thing just like it was nothing. Boom.
The crowd went wild.
And what I remember is Coach Slacker running on the field, 6'7", jumping up in the air just like this, running on the field, jumping up in the air. I mean, that was just fantastic. And all I did was I just kind of exhaled and held my cross. I said, "Thank you, Lord." Walked over there, shook the old one's hand.
Yep.
Nice game, Coach.
What was your, like after you, like when did you finally decide that coaching was time for you to
Well, I'll tell you, I was in Patrice Pujo's office, and Robert Cluot was the director of secondary ed, and Roger Cluot was a school board member. And Roger, they were gonna move Patrice up. They knew it, and they wanted her to be the superintendent one day. And they wanted to make me the principal. And they were in there, and they were saying, "Coach Moreau, you've had a good run. You know, you don't win every time. The people are rumbling and all that. And, we want you to be the principal at this school." And I hadn't thought about it. I had a degree and all, but that was just customary to get an administration degree. So I thought about it long and hard, and I love Santa Monica High. And so I said, well, I'll do it, you know. And I said, well, just whenever it's time, move me to the principal job. Can't do it from the coach's spot. Can't do it from AD spot.
Yep.
Can only do it from assistant principal spot. That's the only way I can promise you that I can do it. So I said, okay. So that's how that got going, you know. And I was assistant principal for 1 year, sure enough.
And then
Right on schedule.
what year was that?
Oh, I don't remember.
That was
98.
I was
us.
Yeah, I was gone.
Yeah. Well, I was definitely going. That was 92.
I think it was around 98.
97, 98, yeah. Okay. That's kind of what I was going.
I applied in the summer and got the job. And I remember, he went out there. I remember,
I can turn it up if you need.
no, I'm all right.
Okay.
I remember, I had a high schools at work convention in I think it was Atlanta. The next morning I left and I went, and I met some of the teachers that were there. In fact, I met a teacher that had been at Santa Monica that was real big in that, Tracy Leslie, and she came by and congratulated me and all of that. And we were at a big convention at the end. They gave out awards, and I was sitting next to her. I said, we're gonna be the top school in Louisiana. I guarantee you, we're gonna do it. I mean, that was competitive, you know.
The coach is coming out of you,
Right.
You know.
You know what, buddy? We won it. Me and David Richard flew. We weren't at that convention, but they called us and told us we had won the High Schools at Work award for the state of Louisiana. And so we hopped a flight, took off, went to Atlanta, walked up on the big stage with all the big guns, and got out of the award, and got back in a jet plane, flew back home, you know.
Yes, indeed.
For Santa Monica High. So that was, well, Patrice was real happy with that, because she's really the one that had gotten Santa Monica started into all that.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was a real high point for me as principal.
So you was principal, and then did you finally say I'm done and you retired, or did the calling from Ascension Catholic, like what's the timing? What's all this timing?
The timing is I was very flustered with I wanted things to play out at Santa Monica High. They would come down the pipe and it was changes, always changes, and our faculty was bought in. They were getting with it, and that was one of my big things, was pushing for for, this, in school, can't think of the word right now, staff development.
Oh, okay.
Staff development, but meaningful staff development at what we want to do, and then letting us do it.
Yeah.
Because the next year they changed.
Right.
And boy, they kept changing, and I said, I'm not changing, I'm letting them do what, I mean.
Well, we just taught
Yeah, I mean, we went to special workshops all over Tampa, Florida. We went and brought some teachers that I use as staff development coordinators and stuff. And one assistant principal, and we stayed 4 days and studied this stuff. And came back where everybody was on fire, man. I mean, we talk about 4 different teachers that networked out to the whole school.
Yeah,
We had
right,
120 teachers.
Right.
They would network out, and the rest of the teachers would buy in a whole lot quicker. Those guys didn't have any angle to. They were they were interested in what's best for kids.
Right, yeah.
And so they didn't have any school board person telling them what to do. They were doing it because they were sold. And boy, it seemed like it went very, very well. So we got a lot of individualized instruction going. We got a lot of modern stuff rolling at the time. And I mean, I was probably the least intelligent person out of the whole school. I just knew how to handle people.
Yeah.
And that's what Patrice told us. I said, Patrice, there's no way I'll be principal at school. Oh yeah, you just know how to handle people, so that's all you gotta do. You ain't got to do nothing in the English class. You get somebody who knows how to do English to do that.
And like a good coach, you put the
Yeah.
right people in the right positions
Right.
to make the right plays, to make the right choices, and same as teachers.
I remember,
You know,
the last month I was principal, we had an English position open. And I didn't know much about English. But it was a freshman English job, and I had 4 ladies teaching English that were crackerjack. I brought them in, I said, I want y'all to each get a question to ask the applicants. Y'all gonna help me judge who's the best one to get. We had 6 applicants.
oh wow.
I said, you give me the top 2 and I'll choose one. So they did, and they coordinated, and boy, they got in there and they asked their questions, and boy, you could tell, man, each applicant, you could tell what they were strong at and what they weren't strong at.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave me 2 and I chose one, you know, and I was pretty proud of that process.
But again, you're involving people that it's going to affect,
Oh,
not
yeah.
you just saying, oh, yep, you
And
came in here.
when they chose that person, you think they didn't take him under their wings?
Right.
Yeah.
Because they
did.
Because they were invested in that person, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. So.
Because then if that person would have did bad, you'd have been like, y'all chose this one.
Right. So that worked out pretty good. But I was ready to get out. That's just gotten to where I was tired. I wanted something different. I knew I couldn't go back to coaching at the time. So
We'll get to that in a minute.
Robert Kluot had become a director of ABC School. And so I called him. One of the directors at the school board who knew me well told me, you need to call Robert and ask him, see what he got. So they were looking for a new night school principal. And it didn't pay a whole lot, but it was 4 days a week. Well, hell, I was working 8 days a week before that.
And you continued toward your retirement, huh?
No,
It didn't?
No, it was not enough.
That went part of the state?
No,
Okay.
that was it. No, they paid on a 401k or something like that. I didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I went there. And Robert's concern was, you better let people know that I didn't lure you to Santa Monica High.
Yeah.
So I said, don't worry, Robert, I'll take care of that. So I was a year and a half. Well, I still had my yellow tablets with me, Chuck. I was still drawing plays and stuff. I said, boy, if I ever can get back in. speaking engagement at San Juan High. And I did the guest speaking engagement, and Coach Swacker had left, and they had applications, they had interviews that night. And so, I was walking down one of the walkways, and Coach Arsenal told me, Big O got the job, and he was offensive coordinator for Coach Swacker.
Yeah.
Said, Coach Oliver's got the job, and he wants you to come be his offensive coordinator. He said he wants to run a triple option. That's what they ran in high school. And I told him you were the man. So I kept walking and running to Coach Oliver. And he pops into me. Oh, baby. So I said, well, what kind of teaching schedule I'm going to have? So he said, well, I tell you what, he said, let me get with Steve Westbrook and see what the deal will be. So that was on Tuesday. Well, that Saturday, I went to school and they met me. And I met with Coach Oliver for about 4 hours and just laying out the groundwork of what we were going to do and all that. Then he called Mr. Westbrook, and we went to that office and he showed me the schedule. Well, that old board, I had been on that board doing schedules for a long time. So I looked at that schedule, I said, I tell you what, if you take this one and do here, and this one do here, you got a deal. We got it.
Sold.
That was it. So that was it. And the rest is history. Me and Coach Oliver get along super good. He's a great, great offensive line coach. Yeah. Great, not good, great, man. And so he wanted to know all about the triple option. And it's different kind of blocking. It's not that blocking where you stand up and push them. So it's come on the ball and move a guy's foot. Right. And no matter who they are, you got to move. You got to move. Make a crease and we go. So that's and at the time the program was really down. I mean, the first 2 years, I don't think we won it. We didn't win a game the first year.
First year was a
over.
Yeah.
And the next year we won 5. Yeah. The first 5 we lost the next 5. Yeah. I think we did it again, and then things got rolling. So I got that after 4 years. I wore out again, you know, and we played EA and we lost, and I didn't feel like I did a good job of preparing the guys for 2-point plays and stuff, and that's what we lost. We lost because we couldn't get a 2-point play. Yeah. And so I told Coach Oliver after that, I think this will be my last game, Coach. I need to go and retire and take it easy. Okay. So next morning I get up, tell my wife, I said, well, I told Coach Oliver this was my last game now. She said, okay. She said, well, what kind of job are you going to get?
She said, you ain't just sitting home, boss.
She said, oh, we got to have another salary. I said, what you mean? You got to, she said, why don't you go apply at Cabela's? I said, and put one of their shirts on and sell stuff that I want to buy. I said, no. I said,
You get a 10% discount.
You would get a check.
I go to Cabela's to buy stuff, not to sell. So I turned around. I was standing over there, and I walked to the counter. And the newspaper was open, and the classified ads was there. I said, let me see what they got. Ascension Catholic, looking for AD head coach. I said, oh, wait a minute now.
Lord works mysterious ways.
Wait a minute now. So I called Dwayne Thomas. He had been there.
Yeah.
He says, call Troy LaBeouf. He's the man that knows everything. So I called Troy LaBeouf. And Troy, I said, what's Sandy Pizzolato was the principal. What's her number? He gives me the number. He said, but she ain't going to talk to you. I said, why not? That she don't want to talk to any candidates before the interview. I said, man, that's the opposite of me. I want to get them in a real key situation and really talk to them. You know? So I said, okay. So there was 10 people that applied, and I guess they interviewed 4 or 5 of us. I don't know, but I was pretty good at interviewing. And she wanted ex-principal Man, that hit her fancy, boy.
Yeah.
She got I got somebody I can lean on.
Yeah.
So I interviewed, and I thought I interviewed real well, and I got the job. And first week I was in the office. I wasn't hired till July 1, you know.
No.
And but I was there. I got hired in February.
Oh, wow.
And so I was there. We started weightlifting and everything else there. I wasn't waiting. Every morning 6:30, I'd meet the kids at the field house. They didn't have any athletic PE. I met them with 37 players returning, and we had 20 of them that made 20 workouts or more before we started spring training. I mean, there was commitment.
That's good.
Those
Yeah.
little rascals. They had gotten beat 62-0 to the last game of the season the year before, and they had a bunch of disciplinary problems. They had 6 players kicked out of the game for unsportsmanlike conduct and stuff. Well, I didn't find that in those guys. My first meeting, I met with them. There was 37. I met with them in the locker room, and I'm sitting there talking to them, and I noticed they were looking past me to the side of me. And I looked. And one of the cats there was taking monkey shines. So I stopped and I turned and I said, "Who do you think you are? Boy, you think we can't do without you?" I said, "These guys are tired of losing." I said, 62-0. You can live with that? I can't. I said, "We gonna change it. And if you wanna be a part of it, you better join us. Because we ain't putting up with junk like this." That's serious people right there. You better be serious. And he melted. What I didn't know was he was the big gun. He was the fastest guy on the team. He was a senior, and he was a silly guy. Well, boy, they just felt, he got what he deserved, you know. And so we went to work. Now, he was busy in something, and he didn't make the workouts. And when it came time for spring training, he decided he wasn't going out for football in the spring. I said, "Okay, good." We went on about our business. We had the first 2 days of practice. The practice field was so bad. Like I tell you, we could have duck hunted on it. There were potholes in it. So we got the guys to plow it up. I mean, the Allen sugarcane farmers and all that were ready for a change. We plowed it up and put a sprinkler system. We reseeded it and got it going, but we couldn't practice on it for spring training.
Right.
So we practiced in the parking lot of the baseball field.
Wow.
If you ran out of bounds, you went in the cornfield.
Yeah.
It was a ditch.
Yeah.
So they fought hard not to run out of bounds. And that's why we practiced. And I remember that we practiced 2 days, and the guy that I told you about comes in, Coach Moreau. "I made a mistake." "Oh," I said, "Did you make a mistake?" I said, "But you know," and he was begging. And I said, "You know what? I usually don't take people that quit back. And you know that.
No.
Once you quit, you gotta live with it." But he didn't know we hadn't even started. He didn't know what was going on, and I felt sorry for him. I said, "Son," I said, "I'm gonna take you back," but I said, "You missed 2 days of practice." I said, "You got 2 days with boards." That's when I started boards. Nobody knew what a board was. Hell, I didn't know what a board was. I never done one before. I had them 4 foot long.
Yeah.
So, yes, sir. So he came, got his equipment on, he went out to practice. He practiced hard, real hard. He was a good athlete too. In the practice, all the players wanted to see him run. What's them boards like, So he got on there, boy, it was like, you could the smoke was coming out of his eye. He ran like 3 of them, and his tongue started sticking. And he was going, pull out. And that's what they wanted to see. They wanted to see him humble.
Right.
And he finished. I said, "Okay, let's go. Bring your board in." Carried the board, went back in the field, and we had to walk about 100, 200 yards to get in there. I talked to him a little bit. So next day, at the end of practice, you got 6 more now. The rest of the guys, they didn't even stay. They left and went back. They knew.
Yeah.
But then he was smarter that second time. He paced himself when the first one.
Yeah, you learn real quick.
Died.
Right. Even when we were doing belly flops,
Oh,
you
yeah.
learn. But,
the one I used to hate belly flops was Coach Security said, you know what you did, son? And you know how many times you should hit it. So go ahead and say, oh, don't put that burden on me. Blow the whistle, please.
Everybody was the best one because he'd get to talking.
Oh, yeah. And then, then you ran, you sit there trying to hit, get ready to hit it, you know, you done ran 30 yards, it's like, you gotta blow it sooner or later.
And you only flop once.
Yeah.
Like, I like these.
So I tell you what, he came back out there and he played his senior year, got to play his senior year, had a great time, was never a problem. And he was fast. I mean, we turned him loose and threw to him deep. And first team we played was Hanson Memorial. They had beaten Century Catholic like 6 years in a row. And Friday night, he's called off because of a hurricane. So we had to play on Sunday. Well, buddy, we had run a bunch of them bulldog derbies. You know, we had Gator derbies, but we had bulldog derbies. And we ran them. I mean, they all got to go both ways, and you got to be in shape. They really leaned on each other. They were smart. They were good. They worked hard, you know. So we got ready for that. So that Sunday afternoon at 1:00, the stupid coaches agreed to play at 1:00 on Sunday, and it was hot and it was humid. But them little guys wanted to go. Well, they couldn't wait to get on the field, and they had lost to Hanson 6 years ago. Well, they slaughtered Hanson. And he come back to the side, Coach, them boys don't want no more. They ain't in shape, boy. and we beat them 48-0 with running time.
Oh, wow.
In the second half. And they had 4 of them they had to take to the hospital for dehydration and stuff like that.
I'm sure, I mean.
So all I did was prove to our kids what conditioning was all about.
I mean, I know we had a bunch of conditioning, you know, we played one side of the ball, you know, but I'm assuming that probably like at a 1A school like that, you having to play both sides, so you really got to make sure they condition, you know.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and ready to go.
You try and go one way with them, but you can't.
Yeah.
And then of course, everybody, if you're not a starter on both sides, you're a backup on one side.
Right.
If you're a starter, you're a backup on another side.
Correct.
At the least.
Right.
But
we was a different coaching world.
And I had, no, it was so good. It was so fun.
It's not different though, like as far as like for personnel, like on the field, with your 2
I got
ways.
to put that whistle around my head, and I got to coach kids.
That's right. That's right.
And they were hungry. They didn't want to get slaughtered. They didn't want to get embarrassed. And we ended up making the playoffs that year. We 7-3, something like that, 8-2, 7-3. And all 3 years that I was there, we did well. We made the playoffs and stuff like that. And I couldn't ask for more from them. I mean, we had some problems, but we dealt with it, you know.
Yeah.
And I know throughout your years, you know, I know you coached a lot of kids and stuff and got to become friends with their families and stuff like that. But I'm sure you also, a lot of close friendships with the coaches that you had, you know, throughout the years, you know. I mean, I spent a lot of time together, especially during football season.
A lot of time,
you know.
Some of the best people I know are coaches.
And so I know it's probably tough, you know, like when Coach Swacker was leaving Minden to tell him, like, look, I'm leaving, or even you leaving Winfield, I'm going to Santa Monica, you know, and it's like, you know.
It was tough to leave Winfield.
Yeah.
Now, one of my assistants took over for me right away. And, but I remember it was so fast moving. When I came back home, I went to my principal. I had called him and told him that I got the job. He knew I was applying. And so they got together and threw a little gathering. I won't say a party, but we had a little gathering of the people, the inside circle of folks that were a part of the program. And the principal bought me a new rod and reel. Me and him fished together. And so it was hard to lead those people.
Yeah.
It was hard to lead them people.
I heard when you got to Santa Monica, like the visitor side, I heard a story about the visitor side.
We can talk about it now.
What happened there, Coach?
Well, at the Booster Club meeting, I told them, I said, guys, this was after the season, first season.
And I remember those bleachers.
I said, man, they had people coming to the games. I mean, we were 5-5,
They
but
started,
they were
yeah.
coming, you could see
Yeah.
it, or you could see the smoke coming out the little behinds, and they were getting with it. So I said, we got some things we need to do. We need to, first thing we gotta do is get some visitors bleachers. That stuff we got over there, that is.
For those of y'all that don't know, it was just like concrete, like slabs that was laid on top of each other, you know, just kind of.
And it wasn't any, it wasn't long.
It wasn't much, yeah.
20 yards wide and
Right.
4 rows deep. That was it. So I said, and that's got, I said, we got to get some stands and all that. So about a week later, Mr. Richard Wagersback comes by and says, Coach Moreau, can I talk to you? Yeah. He said, you know them stands you got over there? Visitor stands? I said, yeah. He said, we got to get some new ones now. I said, yeah. Yeah, he said, they're not there no more. I said, what happened to them? He said, I put them in that cesspool pond over there. We got the dozer. He said, now we got to get some.
Now we gotta get some.
Don't have a choice now.
And then, Chuck, everything was 50-50, capital improvements.
Mhm.
So we got it, we got the school board to go with our booster club 50-50 on all, even though they should have paid for the whole thing.
Yeah.
And they said, you gotta put them up. We're not using our crew to put them up. Okay? Every night, for about 2 weeks it took us. Every night in the afternoon, the gang would show up. And they had a consultant from Colorado that came down, and he would tell everybody what to do.
Okay.
And we put those stands together. And that was the beginning. We've had 1 improvement, 2 improvements, stuff like that, but that was the beginning of actual stands.
Yeah.
And we started putting people in them too.
Oh, yeah.
That's one thing that my son, like whenever these like sports line Friday night might show the old, clips from way back and all, he's like, wait, back that up. He's like, there's like 3 or 4 people deep on the side. I said, dude,
Yeah.
like EA Sanamo game,
Yeah.
that was the show. That was like that was everything,
Yeah.
Chuck, I remember when my first year at Sanamo in '85, we played them at the pit, and they just overpowered us. And this Delmore, somebody got.
Tim Delmore? No, Tim
Vic
Wade.
Delmore.
Yeah.
Anyhow, he ran over. He was about 225 running back. And Van Lambert was the coach. And Van liked to stick it in you, the power eye, stuff like that. So they just overpowered us. I remember one of my players, Mike Trahan, his shoulder popped out, and he just popped it back in, and he went back and played some more. I mean, I knew what a sucker he was. The next year we played him at EA, and EA had all the big bleachers and stuff. Well, we had them all packed up in there.
Yep.
And we beat them, we district champs. So our people are cranked up. And I remember walking out of the dressing room, and we came out between where EA's main section is and the student section.
Yeah.
Right there is where we walked out onto the field.
Yeah.
And I looked around and I said, man, it's like state championship.
You can feel the electric in the air, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you could see it.
Yeah.
And you know what? We didn't win that game either. We ended up losing 16-14, something like that, on a safety.
Mm.
And a safety, and we were leading by like 16-7 or something. We got a safety, I gave them 2 points, and then we had to kick off to them, and they drove it down and scored again and beat us.
Okay.
So, boy, we were still district champions, so that wasn't for district champion, we had already won it.
Yeah.
So we still went as district champion. So the next year we played them in the pit. This was my 3rd year, and we definitely had a better team. But it's a war.
That's
And-
Your 3rd year, that was
You can throw it.
running back Ricky Devitel, I think, huh? Was your running back?
Yeah, that was,
I think he was a senior that year.
Yeah.
That was 87? Was that 87 your 3rd?
in '87,
Yeah, 87.
Danny Willis was a junior.
It was a junior, yeah. Ricky was a senior.
That's right,
Yeah.
he was a senior. And so we played them, and we were ahead of them just about the whole game, but late in the game, they got a drive going. And, they were on our end of the field and got the 4th down. They called timeout. Van was still the coach.
Mhm.
And, can't think of his name right now, was an offensive coordinator.
For us,
No, for them.
for them. Oh,
And they were running a wing T. And so they didn't have a drop back game. Everything was play action. Everything. It could be 4th and 100, they're gonna run play action. So we practiced all week long that if it's a passing down and you're playing the end position and they go strong into the sideline, like the wing into the sideline, they're gonna be bootlegging back to the field. So widen yourself out and get the angle and cut him off. Don't let that quarterback get outside. Tackle him. And what we worked on that, tackling. So they called timeout. Okay, brought him in. It was on our right hash. Lane Luke was the left defensive end. Grabbed Lane, I said, Lane, you remember what we practiced? I said, if that wing is into the sideline, and he was smart as a whip. I said, widen yourself out and watch the ball, get a ball keep. When it's snapped, you up the field. Don't let that quarterback get outside. He's got to do it. It's throwing the play, they got it. Okay, coach. Make the hell of the run, strong into the side. They did. Zoop, zoop. I said, if it happened to you, Jody Fry, boom, he bootleg, boom, yeah, he go right there. Ball game, that was it. We got on the knee, that was it. Won the game. Well, that was the first time we beat him in 7 years or something like that. And
that started the run.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this old woman, a big heavy set woman, she walked up to me, she picked me. What do you mean, Jim? She realized, I was airborne. And she put the biggest old wet kid right on the side of me. Like, threw me down and she took off, boy. Then I saw Mr. Wavell broke.
Oh, Mr. Wheel.
Get in his wheelbarrow, and the other guy had to push him out. They had been doing that. He
For
was
years,
tired.
yeah.
You don't go out doing that guy in the wheelbarrow. So I looked and I saw it. And boy, all the time while people were walking, they were doing this the whole way down the field, boy. Giving that old boy some pain,
slack,
boy. Yeah.
And,
So
and you've been, all over the state playing and stuff like that, and I know we're biased and you probably a little bit too, but have you seen any other rivals of that magnitude of the Simon Ascension where, and it's not just the football game, it's the community.
yeah, it's the biggest one I've been a part
Okay,
of,
that's-
for sure. Now, when I was in Winfield, we played Jonesboro Hodge, but that was 2 AA schools. This is a big, massive thing, man. It's like you said, the communities are real close. They weren't real close
Okay.
there. They were mortal enemies and all of that.
Yeah.
But, we played Jonesboro Hodge we had already won district, one of those situations, and they weren't having a great year. But boy, we got off to a horrible start. 29-0 their favor, first half.
You can throw all the records out the window when you play these
in
rival
rival
games.
games.
It's
And
just,
so we scored a touchdown and we went for 2 and made it 29-8 right before half. I said, guys, they ain't gonna beat us. You just play defense and we're gonna score points. And boy, they kicked off to us. It took us about 2 plays, ran an out and up, touchdown. And it started happening, boy.
Yeah.
We started catching them up. We beat them 34-29. And we had to actually run the clock out. I mean, we had to get some first down running because we scored too quick.
no, yeah.
Right.
Man, so but that was a rivalry game.
And that's, like I said, once you get to those rival games, it's all bets are off.
Speaking of rivalry game, I hear somebody has a grandson playing for East Ascension.
Yeah.
So how's that?
I tell you what, he came to me 2 summers ago. He said, Papa, he's the littlest man on the team. Papa, I want you to work with me on my speed. Speed.
Well, we can coach that.
I said, here's the deal. I said, I got some things I can do with you, but I said, I'm not gonna play games with you. Now, you're talking about something that's gonna make you a better athlete, and nothing like speed can do it for you. So I said, you gotta be committed. We're gonna go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We're not gonna miss a one. We're gonna do it every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you got a baseball game and gotta call it, you tell me ahead of time.
Yeah.
And I'm all right with that. That's the way we're gonna do it. He didn't miss a one, Chuck. He ran every time. I'd get him, I'd pick him up at 8 in the morning, we'd go to the pit and we'd run, we'd do drills. And people say, what you doing with that? I said, just running a little bit.
Yeah.
But I clocked him, and the first time he ran a 40, he ran 7 something. He did a little poop. Got through that summer, he ran 5.4. I mean, that's how much he improved.
that's a
Well, a
big
lot of it was just running all out. He had
Yeah.
never had to run all out
Right,
before, you know?
I always say, if you want to get family, you gotta run. You gotta
Yeah,
run.
yeah.
And he had brought one of his buddies with him the last time, because we knew what time of that day, and he wanted to run against him. And the other guy beat him, but he didn't play football. So anyhow, he played his football season, St. Teresa, his last year. And then this year, he goes to EA. I wanted him to go to Ascension Catholic, but, you know, they're big EA people.
Yeah.
They all went to EA, mom and daddy, brother, all sitting, not the brother, not the daddy.
Yeah, not the daddy, but the mama side.
Yeah. So anyhow, I'm close to it. So he's going out for football. I said, going for football at EA? Yeah. Pretty tall cotton there, boy. So, he talks to me about it and all, said, he's going, you know, he's committed to it. And all. So he goes out there. I'll go watch him practice one day, and I get to see him take a couple of reps and all that. Then I'll go watch him play a game. He plays, Dutchtown or somebody like that. And, he catches a pass and catches a little 5-yard hook up, turns it up the field, gets 10 more yards, 15-yard gain. I'm like, I'm out of breath. I'm so excited. You know, me and his daddy sit next to each other. And so we all pumped up, you know. So now, so he fixing it, but I said, I said, my boy, I said, I'm not going to sit on the EA side. I said, I'm just not gonna do it.
I love you, but there's a lot.
I said, I said, if y'all playing anybody else, I'll sit on the EA side.
Yeah.
I said, that's my blood, sweat, and tears on there, you know. He said, so he called me one day, Papa, I understand. I know what you're talking about. He said, you go sit in your usual spot, because he sat with me before watching games.
Yeah.
Go sit in your spot and watch the game. But he said, if I do something good, you're gonna cheer for me? Those people around me gonna know who you
That's
are.
right, that's right,
I will
that's
let
right.
them know. And so that's it. I talked to his daddy today about that situation. And he said, Coach Darnell Lee brought him in the office the other day. They want to run him at running back now. They moved him from wide receiver to running back. And he had two carries the other day against Zachary. And I mean, the second he touched the ball, they hit him both times. So he didn't get a chance to run.
Yeah.
He just got a chance to hold on to it.
Got a chance to get hit.
So Darnell brought him in and talked to him, and I thought that was real good, and encouraged him. Hey man, you're gonna get your chance. Just keep hanging in there. He's a quick learner. Now he's gonna be second string because he ain't got a heck of a freshman running back.
Yeah.
The starter.
Yeah.
He's good. So he's the number 2 running back.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
And that's kind of what makes, again, back to the rivalry and the community is stories like that. Because again,
Oh yeah.
you know, just because the dad went to San Amant, mom went to East Ascension, the kids got to go somewhere.
You know,
And it becomes
my kids.
It all depends on where the family land is.
Yeah.
That they stay
I don't
on.
know what it was, but my kids always dated somebody from
East Ascension.
Man, and they're getting married, you know.
Yeah.
I said, well, man, wait a minute. I know Chris Amant used to come over here in his truck, and I don't know how to put a gator stick on. Maybe, man.
Hang on one second.